3.2 deals with solving quadratic equations by factoring, so we're going to factor to try to solve the equation, find out what the variable is equal to make this answer equal a certain another answer. In most cases, it's going to always be 0. As you see here, x squared plus x minus 56 equals 0. What numbers will fill in the x so that this equation is true? So you factor it, x plus 8, x minus 6, 7. To do that, the x squared is split up evenly. Factor of 56 are 8 and 7. They will give me a 1, and then I use the 0 property rule, which says you want everything to equal 0, but you only take one set of information in the brackets and solve for 0. Come up with x is equal to negative 8 and x is equal to 7. Plug these two answers into the original equation, so you do it twice, and see if they work. So here they have 0 is equal to 0, 0 is equal to 0, so that's the answer, so you go from there. That's solving by quadratic equations by factoring. So, to do that, we take a look at this one. I can factor this, so I get x and x. Numbers that give me 8 are 1 times 8, 2 times 4. Out of that, what will give me 2? It'll be this. It'll be negative 4 plus 2, and that all equals 0. 0 property is going to be x minus 4 is equal to 0. X is equal to 4. So when the 4 comes across, it changes its sign and becomes positive. Same thing here, the 0 property. I got x plus 2 is equal to 0. The 2 is going to come over. When it comes over, it changes its sign, so it's positive here. When it comes over, it becomes negative. So there's my two answers. Now I'll check to see if they work. So I substitute the 4 in for the x and c. So I got x4 squared minus 2 times 4 minus 8 is equal to 0. I get 16 minus 8 is equal to 0. 16 minus 8 is 8. Minus 8 is equal to 0. 0 is equal to 0. Same thing here, so that one works. So we know that 4 is correct. Here I get negative 2 squared minus 2 times negative 2 minus 8 is equal to 0. Negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. Negative 2 times negative 2, there is 4. Minus 8 is equal to 0. So 4 plus 4 is 8. Minus 8 is equal to 0. 0 is equal to 0, so that one works. So those are the two correct answers for that equation. This one, when you take a look at it, is a little different. It's not in a quadratic function formula, so we have to put it in. So 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times 1 is plus 2x. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x, and negative 3 times 1 is negative 3 equal to 3. Group my like terms together, so I only have an x squared, so that's 2x squared. Here I got x and an x, so 2 minus 3 is negative x, and here I got minus 3 is equal to 3. I'm then going to bring this over here. Once again, when it crosses the equal sign, it becomes the opposite. So here it's plus 3, it becomes negative 3 is equal to 0. 2x squared minus x minus 6 is equal to 0. Factor it. I can't split the 2x squared up evenly, so I take the 2 and the 6 and I come up with 12. Numbers going to be 12 are 1 times 12, 2 times 6, and 3 times 4. Out of those, which one will give me that imaginary negative 1? It'll be 3 and a 4. So what we learned last time in chapter 3.1, we're applying again with it to solve a quadratic function. So these numbers replace the x. So I get 2x squared minus 4x plus 3x minus 6. These we by negative 1. Group them. See, when I take out of there, I can take a 2x out of there. So I'm left with x minus 2. I can take a plus 3 out of there. I'm left with x minus 2 is equal to 0. These two come together, so I get 2x plus 3. And these are the same, and they're written down once, and I get x minus 2. I'm going to do the 0 property. So I get 2x plus 3 is equal to 0. 2x is equal to negative 3, positive here. When it comes across, it becomes negative. I'm going to divide by 2, cancel it out, so x is by itself. So x is equal to negative 3 over 2, or negative 1.5. Same with x over x minus 2, the 0 property rule. X minus 2 is equal to 0, x is equal to 2. Positive 2 here, cross the equal sign becomes positive 2, negative 2. So there's my two answers. I will now plug them into the original equation. So I have 2 times negative 1.5. I'm going to do that because it's easier for me to do in my head. Minus 3, and that's all one bracket. And then I get negative 1.5 plus 1 is equal to 3. 2 times negative 1.5 is negative 3 minus 3, and negative 1.5 plus 1 is negative 0.5 is equal to 3. Negative 3 minus 3 is negative 6 times negative 0.5 equal to 3, and half of negative 6 is, or half of negative 6 divided by negative 0.5 is 3 is equal to 3. So that one works. Same in the other question, plug 2 in there, so 2 times 2 minus 3, and yet 2 plus 1 is equal to 3. 2 times 2 is 4 minus 3. 2 plus 1 is 3. 4 minus 3 is 1. 1 times 3 is 3, and 3 is equal to 3. So those work. So both of those answers are correct. Sorry about this, the smallness of it, but I had to get it fixed in, so you could see it all. So, next one, I should go through it first, so I should see what's going on. So here we have solving quadratic function involving a common factor. So we're going to take something out of here first before we solve it. Do the same steps as here once we get it out. So I can see that 3 can come out of there, take 3 out of there, and I get something I can work with. Solve, factor it. Since these are the same, I only have to do it once. I see the answer is negative 5, plug it in, and I can see that they only have one answer. So some questions will have more than one answer, some won't. So, on this page, we're going to take a look. 2x plus 18 is equal to 12x. Bring this over. So the 1 equals 0. So I got 2x squared minus 12x plus 18 is equal to 0. Take whatever I can get out. I can take a 2 out of there, so I'm left with x squared minus 6x plus 9 is equal to 0. X is by itself, so I can square it. 2 sets of brackets. Numbers give me 9 are 1 times 9 and 3 times 3. Out of those, will give me 6, 3 and 3, and that'll be negative 3, negative 3. It's a 0 property. So x minus 3 is equal to 0, x is equal to 3. Only have to do it once because these are the same. I then plug the number in for the equation. So 2 times 3 squared plus 18 is equal to 12 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9 plus 18 is equal to 36. 2 times 9 is 18 plus 18 is equal to 36. 36 is equal to 36. So x is equal to 3 is the right answer. Same with this question, part B. Bring the 4x over. So I got 2x squared minus 4x is equal to 0. What can I take out of there? It's the same. I can take a 2x out of there. So I'm left with x minus 2 is equal to 0. That's it. The 0 property rule. 2x is equal to 0. Divide by 2, divide by 2. X is equal to 0. There's one answer. 0 property rule. X minus 2 is equal to 0. Bring the negative 2 over. When it comes over the equal sign, it becomes positive opposite. So it becomes positive 2. There's the second answer. Then plug them in, see if they work. So 2 times 0 squared is equal to 4 times 0. 2 times 0 times 0 is 0. 4 times 0 is 0. 2 times 0 is 0 is 0, so it works. Good. Next one we put in, 2. 2 times 2 squared is equal to 4 times 2. 2 times 2 squared is 4 is equal to 8. 2 times 4 is 8 is equal to 8, and that one works. So both of those answers are correct. Next one, I'm going to solve a radical equation. A radical equation means we have this symbol here. So we're going to try to solve this once again by factoring. So to factor that, I want to get rid of that symbol, so I square it. What I do to one side, I must do the other side. And as you can see, x minus 4 is squared, so we'll have to write it out twice. Expand it, and then once you expand it, get everything on one side. Once everything on one side, combine like terms. Then you factor it. Down here, it's been factored. Then you will use the zero property to get your answers. Zero property, get your answers, and then substitute them in to see if they work. All right? So, here we go. We will try this. So I'm going to factor this one first. So, here we go. I'm going to square this side. Actually, no, I'm going to bring the negative 1 over first. So I get 3 square root of 3 plus x is equal to x plus 1. Okay, negative here comes on the other side. I then square this. What I do to one side, I must do the other side. So by squaring this, I get rid of the radical symbol, so I got 3 plus x. Here I now got x plus 1 times x plus 1. Got to expand it. So I'll rewrite this again. X times x is x squared plus 1x plus 1x plus 1. Combine like terms. These are the ones I have, plus 2x plus 1. Bring these guys over. So 0 is equal to x squared plus 2x plus 1 minus 3 minus x. Combine like terms. There is no x squared. X, so 2 minus 1 is plus x. And 1 minus 3 is minus 2. From there, I factor it. So 0 is equal to x and an x. Numbers that give me 2 are 1 times 2 that you want to play with. So I got plus 2 minus 1. So this is what I'm left with after everything's been factored out. And I'll use a zero property rule. So x plus 2 is equal to 0. X is equal to negative 2. Positive 2 here goes across with the opposite, negative 2. The zero property rule here. X minus 1 is equal to 0. Negative here, when a cross equal sign becomes positive. So there's my two answers, and we try it out. So, put it back in the original equation. 3 plus negative 2 minus 1 is equal to negative 2. 3 plus negative 2 is the square root of 1. Minus 1 is equal to negative 2. Square root of 1 is 1 minus 1 is equal to negative 2. 1 minus 1 is 0 is equal to negative 2. Does not work. Okay? Does not work. What about the next one? Square root 3 plus 1 minus 1 is equal to 1. Square root of 4 minus 1 is equal to 1. Square root of 4 is 2, so 2 minus 1 is equal to 1. 2 minus 1 is 1 is equal to 1. So that one works. So this one only has one root. One real root. And that's this one. D. Here we're using the quadratic equation to solve a problem. So the sum of numbers, the square root of numbers are 20, determine the number. So we have a number which is x, the number, the sum of a number, and the square of the number. So here's the sum of a number, or a number, and the square of the number. So that one's x squared. That's the square number, and it's a sum. It are 20. So there it is. We then put everything on one side, so the 20 now becomes negative 20. You know, look to see if you can factor anything out. Nope. So then you factor it. X is split up. Numbers that give you 20 are 5 and 4. And we want negative, we should have negative 20, so this, how about positive, so that's right. Use a zero property. Okay, Plug them back and plug the -5 into each equation, 4 in each equation, solve it, and you can see that the numbers are true. So this one has 2 real roots. So the most you can have are 2 real roots, 1 real root, or 0 real root. It all depends. Last part, all solution equations should be checked by placing the answers you have obtained in the original equation. Sometimes the solution of quadratic equation produces an extraneous root. That is, a number is a root of the equation, but is not a solution of the problem. For example, Cody has a daily reading program where he reads for 2 minutes more than he did the day before. On the first day he read for 10 minutes. Cody continued his program until he had read for a total of 6 hours. Use equations to solve the problem. There's the equation. You factor it. Use the zero property, in which you come out with n equals 24 and n equals 15. Both numbers are roots of the equation. However, you cannot have a negative 24 days. So because you cannot have negative 24 days, then it's an extraneous root. It solves the equation, but it doesn't. It solves the equation for factoring, but it doesn't solve it as far as the real life situation. Once you finish this, then you can look at the work that's in your notebook and continue on with that.